Welcome everybody, this is Felix. In the last tutorial, we built our very first Android app using Kotlin. Here it is. Not very impressive, actually. So let's jump straight away into building something that's at least slightly interactive so we can say that we built an Android app that does something. First, we're going to want to add something like a button to this screen. So remember, that screen is, we only have one screen. It's the main activity, which is this class, and we can see in the onCreate function that it is setting the view to activity main. And if we look over here at activity main.xml, which we can find over here in the res layout folder, if we look in here in the activity main, we see the screen that we saw over here in the app. So this activity main is indeed the one that's being rendered to the screen. So if we add something to here, it will show up on this screen here. Here's some common things that we can add. Let's just put a button, because that's pretty basically interactive. We'll put it right there. And you'll notice now on the right side, we have a whole bunch of settings. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory, but we're not going to go into them right now. For now, this is the most exciting one, text. How about let's call it toast. We'll make a little notification pop up at the bottom of the screen here when we click this button. So we hit enter and it updates. There should be a button called toast. Now we have to actually do something with the button. So that's where we head back over into the code. Once we've initialized everything and we've set it to display that screen, we want to reference that button. So we're going to create a variable by using the val keyword, and I'll just call it toast button. And that's going to be used to find view by ID. And we need this, just type this with me for now, I'll explain it in about a minute. We need it to be a button class, and we could put r.id dot, and then we have to get the ID of that button. So each item in your view, in your XML file, has an ID. You can find that right here at the top of the right panel. Right now, the ID is called button. That's fine. We can change it to whatever we want to help it be more distinct. But that's where the ID goes. So if I call it button squid, then we can come over here and access that button by giving button squid. Now, you'll notice this is lighting up red. It's letting us know, hey, you haven't defined that. I have no idea what it is. So if I click on it, it gives me this little hint that says Alt-Enter if I want it to be this little Android.widget.button class. That's what it's suggesting, and that is what we're after. So Alt-Enter, and you'll see that it automatically added an import statement to the file for us to get that class in here. So that's really handy. This little squiggle is just a friendly warning, hey, you never used this button. You created it, but you haven't done anything with it. Patience, my friend. We'll get there. Now, we want to create a click listener. It's called a listener because it's kind of like listening for somebody to do something. It's a little bit odd, but that's what we call it. So we've got our toast button dot set on click listener. You can arrow down and hit enter to get that. And in here, we're going to give it a function. So we can actually do this without those and just put the curly braces in here to use toast to make a little notification pop up. If you're not familiar with it, you'll see what I mean. The class is toast, and you'll see it automatically imported it for us, which is really nice. And use the make text function, and we want the one that has context, the text, and the duration. And you'll see it's popping up. Whoops, I lost it. Let's back up. It's popping up telling us the things that we need: context, the char sequence, which is the text, and an integer, which is going to be a constant. So don't be deceived. Don't type context : just start typing what you want the context to be. In this case, we want this, and see, look, it just added context : in front as a reference. At main activity. This, because it's the button that we're clicking on, it's like the thing that is running, this current thing, and then we want to get the main activity class that's associated with that. And then comma. Now we're on text. Again, don't type text : just start typing it. Squid toast. And then colon. We have to give it the length, so toast class. And then we can choose between length short and length long. And since it is a pretty short message, squid toast, we can choose length short. So now we have created a toast text message, and we want to immediately show it as soon as we create it. There we go. Let's try building and running it and make sure that everything works. Run it on that device. Alright, 0 errors. Wonderful. And here is our new app, and it's got the toast button, and when we click it, boom, this little message pops up. And this happens every time we click it, because we just said listen for somebody to click on it, and if someone clicks, pop up this toast message. So in general summary, we went in here and initialized everything. We set it to activity main as the screen we want to display. We added a button. We changed the ID so that we can reference it back over here in the code. And we changed the text of it. And then we accessed that button in the code using the ID. And we casted it, this is called casting, we casted it into a button class so that we can use the setOnClick listener. And we passed in a function to setOnClick listener so it knows to run everything inside of here, in between these brackets, every time the toast button gets clicked. So we told it to make a toast on this current screen with the text squid toast and make it the short message style, and then to immediately show it. Well, congratulations! You now have a first app that is interactive, and you can even spam the toast button, and you can see it keeps popping up the toast message for a long time. So you can have some fun with that even. Hope you've learned something in this tutorial. Stick around. We're sure to do more. I don't know exactly what is going to be in the next tutorial, but it's going to be pretty cool. See you then.